Pashupati Advani is also with us this morning. Pashupati, good to have you with us. Let's in fact just talk about cement for a moment since we're discussing it. We've got some price action move coming in, but also, perhaps some triggers with regards to, the government and regulators looking at the recent hikes and now, of course, the sand policy. What's your view on cement currently?
Well, I've actually been positive on cement throughout this whole space simply because I feel that now with the new government in place that the projects are going to start getting implemented. So we've got two sets of projects, one roads where, there's going to be, the last mile is getting done, and I think that's going to make cement move. And the other thing is in real estate where thanks to the RERAs being implemented all over the country, those projects are also getting finished. They're not getting finished in the same hands as the people who started them in a lot of cases, but that in itself is going to give demand for cement, and therefore I'm positive. And where we've got even a company like Ultratech that's looking at, they've just got approval for Andhra Pradesh for a new project, for a greenfield project, and they're going ahead. So I think that there is still a desire to increase capacity from all the big guys, and they will also pick up some of the mid-cap cement companies in their portfolios because they're trading at a much lower price. So I think that's good for the sector.
What is it that you're making of the news on Reliance in Brookfield this morning? The fact that Brookfield is eyeing a majority stake in Jio's tower assets, which are valued at about $15 billion. This is really going to help them downsize the debt on their books.
No, for sure. I think all the players of telecom, whether it's Reliance, Jio, or it's Voda, Idea, and Airtel, all three of them are basically looking to monetize, their assets while they sort of consolidate. And what they're doing is, the first obvious thing is to give away the equipment, and so they've basically given away the towers, and it gives them money back in the till to be able to expand on doing what they're doing best, which is to increase customers. So it's a good thing. I mean, the other two have done it. I think it was high time that Reliance would also do it, and Brookfield is one of the 3 or 4 major players that's happy to invest in telecom assets because it's like a rental income. And from the number that I read read about, it looks like it'll be in double digits. So that's a good income to be. And I even read that Mukesh Ambani himself is thinking of investing personally. So that's also a good sign.
Okay, so that's of course on Reliance Brookfield. While we're on it, we've seen the ADAG pack kind of completely hammered in trade, Pashupati. We did have Anil Ambani talk about, the amount of debt that they've managed to sort of, resolve in a press call yesterday. But we've also got further news coming in, auditors resigning on Reliance Home Finance, for example, and so forth. While we've all been tracking the story, some of those ADAG names, would you give a clear call perhaps to sell, to exit? What would be your view?
I've actually not really followed that pack because I guess we've kind of lost track of them, and the good ones seem to be getting sold. But I think that Reliance ADAG is in the position like a lot of the old leverage groups who have actually having to sell off their assets and sell off their companies, and let's see what we're left with. I do feel that there's going to be some kind of settlement across the board for the Reliance ADAG companies. But then, we still can't see the clarity, but it will happen. And I guess so far they're managing to sort of eke along, and let's see what finally comes down. But, as far as our com is concerned, most of the assets seem to have been sold to Reliance Jio and a few to some others, but basically most of it have gone to Reliance Jio. So let's see. They've also sold the old Reliance the power transmission business to Adani. So, the good companies are going. So let's see what's left. And it'll be interesting to see that.
Pashupati, does it come as a relief that DHFL has managed to avert the defaulter tag and they finally paid all the dues to NCDs? Would it be under consideration for investment at all by you?
See, one of the things that is good is that it's, as you just mentioned about Reliance ADAG, in a sense, DHFL is a similar place. They have assets. The question is who's going to bail them out of their assets. They had some income-producing properties and a finance company which have been sold to Blackstone. So I think that's good. I don't know what's left in the actual company. So, we'll see. It's very difficult to see. There's a lot of smoke and cloud that's been created from this transaction. We really need for it to settle, and then we'll realize what's left in the companies and whether it's worth investing in. So I think time will tell, and I actually haven't had a look at it properly to be able to tell you that, but I'm sure we'll see some reports in the next few days, some analyst reports.
Okay. Let's talk about, some of the other names that are actually buzzing. But you actually got something like a Maharashtra Scooters, Pashupati, that's been top of the charts, and on the back of perhaps a lot of news on that EV play, for example, as well going forward. What's your view there? Is that a story that excites you, or would you club it with the rest of the auto pack for now?
Well, I think what's happened in the auto pack is that people are looking at what's going to happen to electric vehicles. I've seen a WhatsApp message floating around that says that a current regular car has 20,000 moving parts and an electric car has 20. So the maintenance costs are going to go down. So everyone is looking at electric. The challenge that we have in our country is, it's nice to paint the picture, but we need a backbone infrastructure to be able to support it. So, can you imagine a scenario where you have an electric scooter and have nowhere to charge it because you don't have power or because there's no charging station? Those are the kinds of issues that we need to fix. Now, we have a great way of coming in late and doing it last and actually benefiting from technology. So I think that's what's going to happen. But it does mean that, our implementation of going from these highly polluting vehicles with BS6 and going to electric vehicles is going to take us a lot longer than maybe some of the other countries. We're seeing China do it in a fantastic way. I think 40% of the cars that they're selling are now electric in China. So that means they've gone out and built the infrastructure, but at what cost? And I don't think that we are so motivated. We want to get the roads first and then worry about whether we've got charging stations on them. But it will come, and I think we'll see it in the next cycle, maybe 3 to 5 years from now.
Okay, lots of other stocks moving as well. We've got Shobha at a 52-week high. We've been tracking that. UPL continues at its life high. Titan does as well. We've got some of the other names cropping up, like a CCD, for instance, which is after a while that we're seeing that one as well back on the chart. So quite a few buzzers there that we've been talking about. Pashupati, while we were discussing interest also returning to perhaps some of the broader market names, do you feel that you'd also be willing to take more of a risk as you look for opportunities in the broader market currently, or would you still be a little cautious?
No, I think that there are obviously places in the mid-cap space to look at. My sort of benchmark has been to see who's going to do capex, and I think that you need to see where the capex is coming from and which industries. So you mentioned UPL. Specialty chemicals, there has been a lot of capex. So apart from UPL, there are some other jewels in there that keep popping up, and they're definitely worth looking at for a longer term investment. We are seeing some of the business shifting from China to India. Specialty chemicals is a sector which has actually picked up, and particularly, because there are companies that supply the chemicals that go into pharmaceuticals as well, it's a nice spot to be. So, like that, there are other sectors. As I said, I mentioned earlier about cement. I personally feel that a lot of mid-cap cement companies are going to get consolidated into the larger cement companies, and therefore they should do okay. And though I heard the technical analyst earlier today saying that maybe cement will come down by 3 to 5%, and that's the time to probably pick it up. So on timing, that's fine. But I think that as a sector, it is a place to go, and it is a place to be, both in cement as well as in specialty chemicals. Like that, there are some other sort of sectors that one has to find. But as I said, I'm looking for sectors where capex is happening, because that's a leading indicator of what's doing well.
All right.
Right. Pashupati, great to have you on the show, and wanted to ask, how is it that you're braving the Delhi heat? I believe it's half of a boiling point, temperatures as close to 50 degrees.
Well, I guess Delhi has been considered a heat zone, but I'm doing my bit in helping the white goods industry by buying air conditioners and running them, and also contributing to the old BSES's power bills. So that's what I'm doing in Delhi. And thanks for asking.
Okay. Make sure you add some air purifiers as well when in Delhi. Unfortunate as it may be, but good to have you on the show as always.